What am I going to eat on the MSC Meraviglia? Hello everyone, my name is Fatima Mahmood. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Why am I making these videos about the MSC Meraviglia when there's so many others out there? Click on the link below to watch my video explaining my reasons. Let's discuss the controversies surrounding the food on the MSC cruise lines. The public criticism that I heard before I went on board my first MSC cruise was pretty bad, and it made me very nervous. People said the food was badly prepared, badly presented. It was frozen or sometimes cold. That it lacks even salt and pepper in the preparation. The food is super bland. One person even said, "You won't starve, but you won't be happy." Another person said, "I can't wait to get off the ship so I can have real food." Others said that the service in the MDR or main dining room was very slow. The biggest criticism out there is that sometimes the wait staff is very rude to passengers. My experience was completely different this time. I found the food well prepared, well presented, hot when required, cold frozen when it was required to be that. I felt the food was seasoned enough to be tasted on first bite. I was stuffed by eating the quality of the food. I was also stuffed by the quantity of choices out there. And I kept thinking, I'm so full, I'm missing out on more stuff. The portion sizes are what should be normal and healthy for us. I would find that the service in all three places to eat was fast, and the service in all three places was extra friendly. And by three places, I mean any of the main dining room. I do want to keep in mind that one reason the service was fast, etc., could be because of reduced capacity during COVID. So a little background about me and food. I'm accustomed to eating food that has a lot of spices in it. Red chili powder, green chili pepper, the Thai kind, turmeric, cumin, coriander, bay leaves, salt, black pepper, sriracha, and hot sauce. So I'm accustomed to very flavorful food. I also have very strange food allergies to herbs and vegetables that you've never heard of. So based on all of this and all the public criticism, I was very nervous to go on board at any MSC cruise line. So here's my evaluation of food on MSC. I had no problem with eating the food on MSC, as I mentioned. If you want more seasonings, here are the seasonings. If you want a specialty item or a specialty seasoning, you can just ask for it. They will have it, and they will have it in all three places. In the buffet, the main dining rooms, and the Ocean Cay Seekers buffet. This is a photo from the main buffet. If you need specialty milk, that's soy or lactose free or rice milk, they have it available, and they have these signs out. This is no different than a procedure you would use in asking for extras at a restaurant in the USA. Here are pictures of things that I asked for in the main dining room, and I received them. I wanted sriracha sauce, they got it to me. I had a tangy lemony mustard sauce as a side to one of my dishes, and I wanted more lemons, and they eagerly provided me as many lemons as I wanted. Same thing, if you need salt or pepper, that's fine. The problem, I realize, when you oversalt food or make it too spicy, that can't be undone. So it's better to make it a little bit less and then have these available for passengers who want them. I want to show you pictures of the wonderful foods and portion sizes that are available on the MSC Meraviglia and other MSC ships. This is what you'll see on your embarkation day. It's lovely, it's wonderful. These are examples of the sizes of the brownies and the other desserts. They're not too small, not too large. And there's so many dessert options available. You'll find videos of them from other YouTubers. Here are some close-up pictures of the desserts from the first day. Yes, they look small, but they are a good and healthier portion size for us compared to what we're used to in America, which is extra large portions. I at one point even asked the food server if she could cut some of these in half for me, and that wasn't an option, but that tells you how rich and delicious this food was, that I wanted to have less of certain items so I could have more of other items. I don't want anyone to worry about the availability of rice on an MSC cruise like the MSC Meraviglia. There is rice, and you will have it as much as you want with different meals. I determined that this rice was probably medium grain. Some people might call this long grain. And this is parboiled rice. It is salted just for taste, but if you want to add black pepper like I did, or even more salt, you can. So you get the rice plain with lightly salted, or you can get rice that is Latin seasoned or Mexican seasoned. Other YouTubers talk about how great the pizza on the MSC lines is, and I think it was fantastic. I would describe it as thin crust, and this is the simplest one. This is just tomato sauce, none of my food allergens in it. It reminds me of something from my childhood, and I absolutely love the pizza. Now I'm going to show you some of the food that was available at different meals from the main dining room, except for dinner, which I didn't have often there. So this is an example of the breakfast. You've heard other YouTubers talk about how there's no self-service, and I completely like that, and I completely hope it stays after COVID. There's always someone serving you food at the buffet line. It's much more hygienic that way. These are breakfast potatoes, and this is scrambled eggs. You can see I took a small portion, and you'll see why, because there's so many wonderful food options to eat from. I just wanted to have a little bit of everything. And one of the great things about MSC food servers is when I said, I just want a little bit of this, they gave me exactly a little bit. I'll often try that at restaurants and places in the US, and it doesn't always work out that I ask for just a small amount and I get something that's still larger than what I wanted. These tiny croissants were wonderful, and I love that they were small so you could eat more of different things, but they tasted wonderful, and other YouTubers talk about how great the best breakfast pastries are. I absolutely love breakfast on the Meraviglia. This is my favorite waffle. The shape is awesome. It's like the logo. It was delicious. It was soft but firm without falling apart. There's nothing wrong with this French toast. It had raisins in it. It tasted fine. I just didn't eat more than this piece on the cruise because I loved having this waffle for breakfast every day. Yes, the rumors you heard and the videos you saw about donuts and sweets always being available even at breakfast is very true. Here are the donuts. Love the breakfast oatmeal as well. One of the things to point out is I never went to Wave's restaurant for breakfast, and one of these days I will. That is more like a main dining room setup where you are served your breakfast rather than going to the buffet. Don't worry, you can always have fruit in the main buffet, and they have various fruit options. Here's a pancake I ate. I will say it was marketed as a chocolate chip pancake, but I didn't quite taste the chocolate chips the way that I'm used to at American restaurants that have a lot of chocolate in it. There was nothing wrong with this pancake. I just love the waffle so much that I stopped eating other pancakes or French toast. I just focused on the great waffle. And this is an example of what my whole breakfast tray would look like. And this was enough. This made me full. Add to this coffee and tea. My trip was so short that I only had lunch once on board. And because I had food allergies, this fish and this pasta sauce was made specially for me. I really appreciated that. This pasta sauce is super spicy, which I like. Garlicky. It has none of my food allergens like basil. And the tomato sauce was wonderfully rich. This pasta was already available on the buffet line, and these other items were also available on the buffet line. It might seem like small portions to everyone, but I gotta tell you, I was more than full with all of this. This was apple pie, and it looks like a small portion, but it was so filling. Here's another breakfast pastry, which is like a twist, as what we call in America, filled with chocolate chips. It is small, but it was wonderfully rich, and therefore I could not eat more than one, even though I wanted to. I wanted to share some additional cruising food tips. you'll find lots of YouTubers sharing content about food on cruises, including how to maintain healthy weight and deal with the extra pounds gained on cruising. I encourage you to watch them and listen to them. One of the things that people talk about on MSC is the portion size are smaller compared to other cruise lines, and I think that's a positive thing, because even though there's still waste on cruises, this helps reduce the amount of waste. Same thing, YouTubers say in the main dining room, if you want more, ask for more. If you want larger portions or extra portions, you can do it. It's fine, it's expected, so go for it. And one of the concerns I had with the no self-service in the buffet line is each time you receive an item, you get it on a separate plate. So even if I wanted salt packets, I would receive it automatically on a plate. And thinking about environmental things, I was concerned about how much extra washing, extra plates, etc. we'd have to do because of these COVID adjustments. And so what is possible and what's easy to do is I can easily hand an existing plate to a food server and say, can you put that on this plate that I already have? And for things like salt packets or smaller items, or even like small pastries, it was okay for me to say to the food server, can you put that in my hand and not in a plate? And that was fine, and that saved on extra washing, extra water, and just like less waste. Another way to reduce the amount of carbon footprint, etc., even during COVID. Through the MSC or My MSC app, you can see the different food menus in the dining rooms. They can be downloaded. So this is a downloaded menu for the Waves restaurant when it was open for breakfast, though I did not go there. One thing I will say about the cheese that is served on board, regardless of location, is I encourage everyone, especially Americans, to try it. They're in small portions, and you can just tell they are different in taste and texture than what we are accustomed to in our supermarkets. So I mainly had dinner in the main dining room I was assigned to due to COVID reduced capacities. You just had to show up between 6 and 9. There was no set time. There may have been something that was an informal set seating. I was often put at a table by myself. I was a solo traveler. Other YouTubers have talked about being solo travelers, but then being placed with groups of people they were unfamiliar with. They did their best on this MSC Meraviglia trip to do social distancing, and I was glad for the opportunity to sit by myself so I could go through my pictures, etc., and organize my files. So this is the fish and the rice and the vegetables I had. Again, small portions, but filling, and then I also had dessert, which I'll show you. This apple crumble, I've seen YouTubers comment on certain apple dishes on different MSC ships, and they had negative experiences with those. This was wonderful. As soon as I ate this, I kept thinking, like, what are people talking about? But I respect that ships are different, cruising dates and times are different, and you never know what happens between experiences. Here's what the paper menu that was placed in front of me looked like. I have different views of this, but this is the first night. It was Sunday, and again, it was served again on Thursday. You'll see it better in a different shot, but I had the grouper with lime and Creole spices. That's what I could eat due to my food allergies. And they got rid of the pineapple mint relish because of my allergies. If if you were to look at the dinner menu on the big smart screens or in your smart TV in your room or on your smartphone through the My MSC app, here's an example of what it looked like, especially on this big screen. Again, this is the menu my first night, which was a Sunday, as well as they circulated back on the Thursday that I was leaving. In a different video, I'll show you how to access these PDFs downloadable from the app. And these are the desserts that I couldn't show you, the dessert listings. And I had the warm apple crumble, as you saw the picture of it. They also had no sugar added ice cream, but it seemed like it was just one option, like one flavor per meal, per dinner. And if you want to buy extra on the menus, you'll see that there are options for add-on purchases with your included dinner. Monday night, I didn't take a picture of the menu, but here's some fried shrimp with a different relish. Tasted wonderful, tasted nice. Here is a wonderful meal they prepared for me. It was on the menu. They might have just adjusted the sauce or not given me the same sauce. The shrimp was wonderful and soft. I loved the vegetables, loved the rice. But I began to have a problem, which was motion sickness. The main dining rooms are on deck 6, and they're by the sides of the ship. And I had motion sickness medicine, but I didn't take it because I thought it wasn't going to be an issue. So this wonderful meal, I could not finish it. This is an example of a contradiction that happens in MSC communications with its passengers, as well as complications due to COVID procedures that are always changing. When I started to get seasickness at the table where I was eating, I asked if I could take the food to my room, if I could have it packaged up. And I was told no, that due to COVID procedures, that was not possible. I spoke to other passengers where sometimes under certain circumstances that were slightly different, people were allowed to take food from the main dining room back to their rooms and their cabins. One of the factors could be because I had already started eating my food and already been served, versus the other example was someone wasn't there yet, they got injured, and they wanted the meal they would have received in the dining room in their cabin. So it can create a lot of contradictions, a lot of confusions. This is a wonderful salad I had the following night with beets and asparagus, and I often prefer to make my own salad dressing of lemon and salt, and they always provided me with lemon. They had to adjust my meal that evening, though this was on the menu. This shrimp would come with the red pasta sauce, but I couldn't eat it due to my allergies, but they provided the shrimp sauteed to me. I love the risotto, and I love the vegetable turnover. It had zucchini and mushrooms, very flavorful inside. Like I said, I enjoyed it a lot, and I asked for a second portion of the rice and the vegetable. Here's the menu so you can take a look, and here is what I was able to have adjusted. Again, I couldn't eat the spiced tomato sauce at all. Here are the desserts that I skipped out. Due to my motion sickness, I thought that I had one option available to me, and so I asked for it, but there seemed to be some confusion about it. The last dinner I had was Wednesday night, and it was a serrata Italian night in the dining room, and I had wanted the fish and shellfish skewer, which was something that I could eat off the menu, and because of motion sickness, I asked that this item be delivered to me in the main buffet so I could eat it there, as well as eat other options from the main buffet. there was confusion. I thought this was okay, but it seemed like sometimes it's not okay to do. But they did accommodate me for that request. Here's what the dessert menu looked like, and I'll show you another version of this from the app. This was the soup from the main dining room that was brought up to the main buffet for me. It was okay. This was a miss. And, you know, in all sort of mass food production settings, there has to be some things that are a miss. This was nothing terrible, but it wasn't anything great. Since I was back in the main buffet, I definitely wanted to make sure that I had some of the great pizza. And there's always crushed red peppers available if you want to make your pizza spicy. As I mentioned earlier about the cheese and encouraging people to try the cheese, this is an example of their fresh mozzarella. Again, this was something I asked for a small portion of the mozzarella that wasn't plated. They cut up a few special small pieces for me. The ones that were already plated were much larger portions. And it wasn't for me because I'm not used to the taste of this authentic, fresh Italian mozzarella. But I do encourage other people to try it. The mac and cheese was okay. I didn't like it. I can't say enough about portion sizes and portion control on this cruise, and the helpfulness of the food servers. I asked for just 2 fries, and I asked for 1 fish stick so I could try the fish stick, and that was perfectly fine, and they were happy to accommodate. So this was the shrimp and seafood skewer brought up from the main dining room kitchen to the main buffet at my request. The rice was great. The sauce was great. I enjoyed the salad. The shrimp and the scallops were fine. However, these pieces of fish at the end did not suit me. I think they were a bit overcooked. That is bound to happen with certain items in this large production setting of cooking for lots of people at the same time. And I finally got to have more dessert in the main buffet, and I got to try different flavors of ice cream, which I really enjoyed. So this is what that same menu looks like when it's on the My MSC app or downloaded, or when you're looking at it one of the big smart TVs that are available in the hallways. Here's the dessert section. As you can tell, I was very nervous about the quality of the food on the MSC cruise line, and in particular because of my unique allergies. But you can see I enjoyed so much of the food that was available. So why don't you give the food on the Meraviglia a try? Just remember that the information I provided is subject to change based on the ship you're cruising on, the season, the port or the location of the cruise, and external circumstances such as weather and health crises. Thank you for watching my video. I'd love to hear from you on email at fmahmood@wellesley.edu. You can also find me on LinkedIn at that address. And if you do send me a connection request, please go ahead and send me a note. Before you go, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. And please go ahead and watch my next video. Thank you.